Maldini, Chiellini, Nesta and Baresi. There's been so many great Italian centre-backs over the years, and we might have just found a wonderkid in Football Manager that can actually reach the levels that some of those great centre-backs did. Hi everybody, Jake here for FMSCOUT. Welcome to another episode of Wonderkid to Superstar, where we find a wonderkid in Football Manager, put them to the highest end of their potential range to see just how good they could be in your save. Now today's player is someone that I've spoke about in a few videos, never done a Wonderkid to Superstar on. In fact, if you keep up with my Wonderkid tier list series, you will see I've always rated this guy very, very highly, yet we've never done a full video on him. So today we're going to do exactly that and take a look at what I believe could be, at least in the FM world, the next Maldini, the next Nesta, whatever you want to call it, the next gem of that Italian centre-back position. And no, it's not Giorgio Scalvini, it's not Bastoni, it's somebody else. But before we get into it, if you do enjoy the video, go ahead and smash that like button for us. Comment down below who you want to see in the next episode of the series and give the player a rating out of 10. Subscribe if you haven't already. And with that being said, let's go take a look at this player, shall we? To do so, we're heading over to the Serie A and to Italian side Hellas Verona. And they've got some great young talents at the club, the likes of Josh Doig here as well. Ivan Ilic is a great player. But the player we're looking at today is the 18-year-old centre-back, Diego Coppola. Now, he is an unbelievable player. We'll break down his attributes and the reasons why I think he is so good in a few seconds. But let's start with the basics, his potential range. It can fall anywhere between 140 and 170 when you load up your save. If you get him on the lower end of that range, he's going to be far cheaper than the transfer valuation you're seeing here. But either way, £15 million or so for a player of about 140 current ability, I'd say that's pretty good value. Now, if you end up paying £20 million for him and he ends up on the higher end of that potential range, you have got yourself an absolute bargain. Because if you develop this man right, his transfer valuation is going to be closer to 100 million later down the line than it is 20 million. So he really is worth the investment if you have the cash to get him. Worth scouting. He's got a long contract, so he's going to be at Verona for a while, so keep an eye on him. Feel free to let him develop at this club for a while because he is a regular starter there. He is going to get game time. But let's break down these attributes, where physically he's already got a great base set. He's 18 years of age here, so we're not expecting him to be a master of anything just yet, but at 18 he's got great physical attributes all around. Strong, good in the air, fairly quick as well. Nothing's really lacking in his game, and whilst nothing is a massive strength, him being 6'4" and having physicals like this at the age of 18 definitely bodes well for the future. And I can see these attributes going up a hell of a lot during this simulation. Now, he's an aggressive and brave centre-back who's composed and reads the game well, anticipates it nicely, alongside some good positioning and even some nice work rate as well. His mental attributes have got a great base to build up from. In this save, he's got a spirited personality. Don't know if that's the case for every save, but either way, that's certainly not a bad personality to build up from. 13 heading, 13 marking, and 14 tackling, alongside some decent ball-playing ability, but by the looks of it, with 11 first touch, 11 passing, 7 vision, and 11 technique. Even if we do develop that, which we will, I don't think he's going to be the world's best ball-playing defender. So here we're looking at someone that, yes, can do elements of that, but really is just going to be that linchpin in your defence, the strong, physical player that holds it. Maybe you have a ball player next to him, but he can be a great, great centre-back. But for now, let's move him over to our Real Madrid team and show you how we're setting him up. So we're going to line him up in a 4-2-3-1 as our central defender on the defence duty. Like I say, not a ball player. And just to let you know, I've already ran the simulation. Obviously, he becomes great, else I won't be making this video. We'll see more about that in a little bit, but just to let you know, he was not like made the target for any set pieces or anything like that. And sometimes we do that for players. So for someone like Coppola, we could have got his goals and assists up or whatever from having him as the man that corners were aimed at, but I just didn't want to force it that way. We just let the game kind of happen as it was going to happen. But anyway, Coppola is here as our central defender on the defence duty, being mentored by the likes of Modric and Benzema, and hopefully their personalities can rub off onto Coppola and give him better determination and a better personality. And when it comes to his training, as always, we're just focusing in on the role. But if it was you guys and what you might do as an additional focus, there's a few things I'd be tempted to look at. Now, the first one, of course, is if you want to balance out the ball playing elements of his game, you could certainly have him working on his passing. That'll increase his vision. His passing ability ability and also his technique, alongside all the other key attributes that he's being trained on from his position here. I also like the look of defensive positioning here for Coppola, because what that will do is really hone in on that marking, the positioning of course, and his decision making to really focus in on those defensive attributes that he's going to try and have. But of course, this is all up to you. I actually think when my assistant manager had auto set the additional focus, he set it to quickness, I think, to try and get his pace up and his acceleration. And if that's something that you want to try, you're more than welcome to. But Coppola is now part of our team. We're going to simulate a few years ahead to see how he looks on the lower end of that potential range. And we've only had to go 2 years for Coppola to reach that lower potential. He's 20 years of age now in this Real Madrid side, 2 seasons in for us, and he is developing into a very nice player. So like I say, with a potential range of 140 to 170, worst case scenario, you load up your save and he's got 140, 141, 142 potential ability. And this is him when he's reached that kind of ability level. So on the worst case scenario, you'll get a player like this, and already you can see he was certainly worth that initial investment. No matter what you have to pay for him, even if it's 25 million, he's still worth it. Physically, he's really started to develop with 16 strength, 15 stamina, 16 jumping reach, pace and acceleration have gone up as well. Technically, his heading, marking and tackling have gone to another level. He's got the passing ability now, first touch, dribbling technique. He's started to develop that into his game over time. And mentally, he's starting to build up very nicely. But of course, this is only him on the lower end of his range, but he is certainly a player that can play for these elite level teams. Obviously, he's not going to start for a side like Real Madrid instantly, but he is a top 5 European League player straight away, which is a lot to say about an 18-year-old. And you can see since joining Real Madrid and playing, he's a centre-back. He's not going to get crazy average match ratings or anything like that. We're more looking at the player on paper here as opposed to his in-game performance, and it's what I expected. But either way, he's got better in his second season, nearly a 7 average match rating. He's been a solid centre-back in our team, playing well for us, and this is only the start in this young man's career. So let's forward ahead now to see what he might look like in his prime. And about 10 years on from where we first started, we are looking at a prime age Diego Coppola, a man who's been around the block in his career. He's 28 years old and his attributes are looking phenomenal. Whilst you take a look at them, I'll just take a second to let you know I do have my own channel that you can find linked in the description down below. Now, we do Football Manager rebuilds over there, as well as some YouTube shorts about Wonderkids you might not have heard of, but I'm really going to try and push it today because we are getting very, very close to 20,000 subscribers at the time of recording. We need like 50 more or something. So if you're able just to come on over, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, I would hugely appreciate it. But let's go back to the player, to Diego Coppola, who is an absolute rock at the back. He's got attributes on another level, and we'll start off with the physicals, which I think are probably my favourite part of this man's game, with 17 strength. Remember as well, he is 6'4". If you aimed corners at this man, we could have got him getting 50 goals a season probably with these kind of attributes. But 17 strength, 17 jumping reach, 17 pace, 16 stamina. Is he good in the air? Is he strong? Is he quick? Well, he's all three. On top of that, he's got great balance, agility, and acceleration, but he'll never need to change direction with that agility or activate his pace because he's always in the right position with 16 positioning. His anticipation and concentration are incredibly high, and it's one of the best aspects of this man's game. He is on another level when it comes to defending mentality. 16 marking as well, 16 heading. The attackers are not going to be able to get away from this guy. He can tackle well, and even over time his passing and first touch has got much better, to the point where he's actually a fairly forgivable ball playing defender. I think he'd still do a great job in that position, but he's now valued at about £80 million at the age of 28. When he was a few years younger, he was borderline 100 million. 45 international appearances for Italy as well, and when it comes to his Real Madrid career, he has been as solid as they come. After the last time we saw him, he hit a 7 average match rating, and he's never looked back since, consistently being a top draw centre-back. 1 year, scored 6 goals, got a 7.21 average match rating. Obviously, we're not going to get 30 goals a season and crazy average match ratings from a centre-back, but this is exactly what you want to see. Solid, dependable, a player that's always there, always playing well, and playing at a top level. I mean, these attributes are crazy for a centre-back to have. I do actually have a simulation at the end of his career, so I'll quickly switch to that. And at the age of 34, Coppola has become an Italian legend with 79 international appearances, still managing to crank out some great average match ratings as the years have gone on. always Mr. Dependable, always Mr. Consistent, and one of my favourite centre-backs in the game this year. His price can vary quite a lot. Sometimes he's really expensive, sometimes not so much. So scout him, see how he gets on at Verona, and maybe he can be the man to lead your line for the foreseeable future. I really do rate this guy. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. His attributes are phenomenal on paper, and I'm going to give him a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like the video, and please do come check out my channel, linked in the description, if you're feeling extra nice. But most of all, have a great day everybody, and I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.